Good evening, everyone. I would like to thank you for inviting me to be a part of this year's Champions event. I'm truly honored to stand before you and share how your support has impacted the trajectory of my family's lineage through my experience as a Patch Kid. I want to apologize in advance. I'm extremely grateful for this opportunity, but I'm so super nervous. My name is Autumn, which you also know is the best time of the year. I'm also a single mother to 3 beautiful small children, ages 7, 3, and 1. This past May, I became a first-generation college graduate. I graduated from Eastern Kentucky University with a Bachelor's of Art in Social Work. I work for JCPS right now as a caseworker. The patch has been a part of my life since I was 6 years old, and my involvement with it has evolved over the past 2 decades. As a child, the patch was a safe place where I could play, learn, and make friends. As a teenager, thanks to the programs run by Mr. Jamil, it was a space where I could figure out who I was, even during those moody and indecisive years. As a young adult, the patch became a lifeline for my children and I, providing for our basic needs and supporting and offering us support while in college. I first started going to the patch when I was 5 or 6 years old. At the time, my younger brother and I lived with our single mother in West Louisville. I didn't know what to expect, but I could sense from my mom's excitement that it would be something great for us. She would say, "Bookie, they have a library full of books. Raven, they have a game room." I've always been an avid reader, and books were my escape from reality. My reality that was a home headed by someone suffering from addiction. Back then, I didn't fully understand why my mother would sometimes disappear for days after promising she'd only go to the store for 20 minutes. Or why my favorite things would go missing. I didn't know that these were symptoms of her addiction. Institutionalized in that lifestyle, I thought it was normal. Looking back, I realized that my mother signed us up for the patch because she was struggling and she needed the help of Mr. Doug and Mr. Calvin. The fact that a Christian-based recreation center was attached was an added bonus for her. No longer did my little brother and I have to stay home alone at the ages of 6 and 5. We had a safe place to go and be kids. And what a kid I was. I spent some of the best hours of my childhood at the patch, dancing in the performing arts room, playing sports in the gym, and enjoying an incredible array of summer activities. The trips and swimming adventures made me feel like a rich kid, experiencing things I never thought I would. But what I loved most was education and reading. One of my most proudest moments is seeing my 9-year-old self captured in a photo, sitting in the chair with a book in hand, displayed right outside the education center today. Every time I return to the patch for our college scholar gatherings, I make sure to show that picture to my kids, telling them that their mom is a part of the history of this amazing place. And one day they will be too. I never knew as a kid, reading in the library and playing in the gym, that the Cabbage Patch would also become a lifeline when I had nowhere else to turn. Throughout my life, Mr. Calvin and Mr. Doug were always just a phone call away. I remember watching my mom stress about how to make ends meet, and then thinking of the patch as a resource that she could always count on. Whether it was household supplies like toilet paper, food when the cabinets were empty, or ensuring we had Christmas presents under the tree, the patch was a constant source of support. When I became a teen, I was able to also lean on Mr. Doug and Mr. Calvin's support. They were there for me when my mother couldn't be. I will never forget one Thanksgiving when she, caught in the tight grip of addiction, locked me out of the house. Standing outside, lost, scared, and unsure of what to do, I felt completely alone. In that moment, I reached out to the one place that I had always felt safe, the patch. I called Mr. Doug and Mr. Calvin, and without a second thought, they stepped in. They didn't just find me a safe place to stay. They surrounded me with the care and compassion that I desperately needed. And what felt like one of the darkest moments of my life, their kindness was a light that reminded me that I truly wasn't alone. It's difficult for me to share this about my mother. I want to honor what the patch has meant to me, but I also don't want to reduce her to a single story. She wasn't just an addict. She was my mom. She was beautiful and in many ways unlucky. I carry both the pain and the love that she gave me, but the patch helped me carry it a little easier. When it came time to decide my own path in life, the patch was right there, guiding me every step of the way. As a young mother, choosing to go to college at Berea was one of the hardest decisions I've ever made. It felt overwhelming, balancing motherhood, school, and the uncertainty of my future. And when the pandemic hit, everything seemed to spiral even further out of control. The world was shutting down, and I was afraid that the dreams I had fought so hard to hold on to might slip away. But in the midst of all that fear and uncertainty, the patch remained a constant in my life. I will always be so grateful for the unwavering support I received, especially from Miss Brandy. She didn't just check in on me, she showed up for me. She drove that hour and 45-minute drive to Berea to come visit me, to give me a hug, just to see me. Whether it was a kind word, a visit, or much needed supplies, she reminded me that I wasn't alone in my journey. The patch was still behind me, even in the hardest times, and that gave me the strength to keep moving forward. College was hard, especially financially. Unlike most 18-year-olds, I was a single mom. Asking for help was difficult because I feared being judged or turned away. But every time I called Mr. Doug, he greeted me with a warm, "Hey, Autumn." His friendly, family-like tone always eased my anxiety. Our conversations weren't like those of a caseworker and client. They were like speaking to a mentor, like an older family member. He would always ask about my kids, school, life, my mom. Our talks were filled with laughter, reflection, and encouragement. He would say, "You know, we're all very proud of you, Autumn. Look how far you've came. Stay in touch and let us know how we can help." I'm proud to say that I'm the first woman in my grandmother's family to attend and complete high school within the expected time frame. I'm also the first to go to college and earn a bachelor's degree. These educational achievements have broken the cycle of poverty in my family, and I'm committed to breaking those cycles of abuse, trauma, neglect, and dependency on government assistance. Growing up in the west end of Louisville, I witnessed things no child, or anyone for that matter, should have to see. I've experienced displacement, lived in homes without electricity or food, and gone to school in dirty clothes. I learned to block out the sounds of gunshots and fights, pretending it was normal. But 90% of my childhood experiences will not be passed down to my children. As a mother, I'm committed to ensuring that my kids will never have to share a story like mine. I'm a hands-on parent, fiercely protective of my children's well-being, and very intentional about the people and the places that they interact with. I strive to give them the safe, fun, and healthy childhood that they deserve. There is, however, 10% of my childhood that I do want my kids to experience. Playing in parks, spending time outdoors, and attending the Cabbage Patch. My oldest son will be 8 in December, and I can't wait to enroll him. The experiences that the patch offers should be a part of every child's upbringing. And I look forward to watching my children enjoy the same opportunities that I have. Thank you for allowing me to share my story, and thank you for continuing to support families like mine. Your involvement truly changes lives.